Polygamy Part 4. From the very first night of her marriage, something dark began to take root inside Alice's heart. The anger she felt watching Chief Odom hold Felicia, the bitterness of seeing the love between husband and first wife, it grew inside her like a seed planted in the wrong season. Every breath she took reminded her that she wasn't the one Odom chose first. And the more she watched, the more she whispered to herself, "I must be the madam of this house. I must rise above Felicia. She cannot and will not remain above me." Felicia, sweet and unsuspecting, woke up early the next morning with a cheerful smile. She walked to Alice's room and knocked lightly. "Hey sister, my friend," she said warmly. "Breakfast is ready." Alice, who had been awake and still drowning in jealousy and resentment, snapped angrily, "I am not hungry." Felicia blinked softly, taken by surprise, then stepped closer with her usual calm gentleness. "Oh no, Alice, you really need to eat. You need to stay healthy so the gods can bless us with beautiful, healthy children through you." The moment Alice heard those words, "children through you," she jumped up from the bed, her eyes burning with rage. "What? Why?" she shouted. "So that's all I am here for, Abi? To make babies for your husband? My happiness means nothing. It's only children that matter to you." Felicia sighed gently and still smiled, trying to calm her friend. "No, dear friend, you mean much more to me than that. You are not just a co-wife, you are my sister. My companion in this home. I want you to be happy, not only for children but because you are family." Alice looked away, pretending to calm down even though her anger was still bubbling inside. She reluctantly followed Felicia outside to the open compound where the cooking fire still burned softly. Children and neighbors were already gathering, eating, laughing, and chatting. The atmosphere carried the warmth of community life. Alice stared, surprised and irritated, wondering why they had to feed so many people every morning. Felicia, with her generous heart, served Alice's food on the same plate as hers so they could eat side by side in love, just as she always imagined co-wives should. Chief Odom sat a little far away, eating with his friends as was tradition. As everyone ate happily, Alice kept glancing at Felicia with quiet irritation. She scooped the biggest pieces of meat from the soup bowl without shame, while Felicia smiled warmly and ate the smaller ones without complaining. In her heart, Felicia never suspected evil. She believed Alice was still the sweet childhood friend she always trusted. But neighbors and friends watched closely. They noticed how Alice frowned, snapped at people, and carried bitterness like a shadow on her back. Whenever anyone tried to warn Felicia, she would defend Alice fiercely. "No. Don't say such things about my friend. Alice is a good person. People misunderstand her because she doesn't like to be treated less than she deserves. Leave her alone." She defended Alice even when it made no sense. She almost fought people who tried to warn her that Alice had a dangerous spirit. Physically, Alice was indeed very beautiful, tall, curvy, full in the right places, and striking. Men admired her, women noticed her, children stared at her with awe. Felicia was more reserved looking. Nothing extraordinary, no dramatic curves, no head-turning features. She was simply normal. But anytime both co-wives went out together, something strange always happened. Villagers would cheer at Felicia. Children would run to her, calling her name. Women would greet her warmly. Men would respect her. People waved at her, offered her fruits, asked about her day, even just smiled at her presence. Alice always watched with jealousy twisting her stomach. "I am more beautiful, more endowed, more attractive," she thought bitterly. So why is it Felicia they love? Why does everyone prefer her? Is she using charm to steal all the glory that belongs to me? She nursed these thoughts until they became poison in her heart. A few months later, Alice's life changed suddenly. She became sick, vomiting, weak, barely able to stand. Felicia stayed beside her from morning till night, wiping her body with cold water, holding her hair when she threw up, cooking soft meals for her, and singing quietly to calm her. When Chief Odom returned from his journey and found out Alice was sick, he immediately sent for the herbalist. After checking her, the herbalist turned to them with a wide smile. She is pregnant. The news spread like harmattan fire. Alice was finally pregnant. Chief Odom was going to be a father at last. The entire village rejoiced. Songs, dancing, ululations, it felt like a miracle the gods had finally granted. Felicia was the happiest. But during her quiet moments, when the night was deep and silent, the thoughts would creep into her heart. So I wasn't meant to be a mother. Why didn't I ever get pregnant? What did I do wrong? But she always shook off the sadness. It doesn't matter. What matters is that finally a child will cry in our home. My husband will smile as a father. And our family will grow. She poured her whole heart into caring for Alice. But pregnancy only made Alice's cruelty grow stronger. She began to speak down at Felicia, shouting at her, insulting her. Do you know why you need to respect me? Alice would yell. I'm here to do what you couldn't do in 10 years. I'm the one giving your husband a child. You should appreciate me, not drag position with me. Felicia swallowed the insult painfully, tears burning behind her eyes, but she refused to reply. One afternoon, Felicia served Alice food. Alice tasted it, frowned dramatically, then poured the entire plate on Felicia's body. Why is the pepper too much? You want to kill me and my baby out of jealousy, ABI? Wicked woman. Felicia froze, shaking, heartbroken. That night, she couldn't sleep. She cried quietly until her chest ached and her eyes burned. She begged the gods of fertility to show her mercy, to remember her sorrow, to give her strength. By morning, she was weak, dizzy, unable to stand or even speak. She couldn't leave her room. Alice noticed, and that morning, she became unusually energetic. She walked around the compound singing loudly, dancing with joy. Villagers watched, confused. Some thought it was excitement from her pregnancy. Some wondered if something darker was behind her sudden happiness. Later that day, Chief Odom returned from business. He sat down in the compound beside Alice and asked gently, "Where is my wife Felicia?" Alice didn't even look at him. "Oh, you haven't even asked how your first unborn child is doing. You should learn to ask about important things first. I am here, beside you, carrying your baby, maybe even your son. Why then do you need to ask about irrelevant things?" she said sharply, referring to Felicia. Odom stared at her in shock. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. He stood up immediately and went to Felicia's room. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. "My wife." "Felicia," he called. "Open the door. It is me." Silence. He called again, louder. Nothing. A cold fear gripped his chest. "In 10 years, he whispered, even in her angriest moments, my wife has never stayed silent when she heard my voice. Something is wrong." He shouted for help. Neighbors rushed in, worried, because they hadn't seen her smile in days, and even the children asked where she was. Together, they broke the door down. Felicia lay on the floor, weak, pale, barely breathing, unable to speak, looking lifeless. Women screamed. Children cried. Odom fell to his knees beside her. Her fingers twitched slightly. Her lips trembled. But not a single word came out. To be continued.